From Kern Government Television, welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting. Originating from the Kern County Administrative Center, located at 1115 Truxtun Avenue in Bakersfield, California. Grounded in ideas, energy, and innovation, Kern County's vision is to be a driving force for the world's fifth largest economy, and our mission is to exceed expectations of the communities we serve, changing the way they feel about government, those who manage it, and the services it provides. Today's Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Okay, board to reconvene. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Supervisor Peters?
Here.
Supervisor Carlier?
Here.
Supervisor Flores?
Here.
Supervisor Couch?
Here.
Supervisor Price?
Here.
Okay, good afternoon and welcome to the Tuesday, August 11th, 2 p.m. meeting of the Kern County Board of Supervisors. We'll begin with a report on action taken today in closed session.
Good afternoon. This morning, following the AM agenda, your board met in closed session on items 41 through 43 and item number 45. Item 44 was withdrawn. There were no reportable actions taken.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have the consent agenda. All items listed with a CA or a C above the item are considered to be routine and non-controversial by county staff. The CA represents the consent agenda for the Board of Supervisors. The C represents the consent agenda for the Kern Sanitation Authority, Ford City Taft Heights Sanitation District, and or IHSS Public Authority. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion. If a member of the audience wishes to comment or ask questions regarding an item on the consent agenda, they may do so prior to a vote being taken. Members of the board may remove any item from the consent agenda and it will be considered in listed sequence, with an opportunity for members of the public to address the board concerning the item before action is taken. On the consent agenda for today is item 4 on page 2, items 5 through 10 on page 3, 11 through 16 on page 4, 17 through 24 on page 5, 25 through 30, as well as item 32 on page 6, 35 through 37 on page 7, 38 through 48 on page 8, and lastly, items 44 through 50 on page 9. Are there, actually, before we go to public comment, Supervisor Parley, I believe, wanted to make some comments.
I just want to thank General Services Department, Michelle and your team, Elsa, CAO, your team also. And this is regarding item 35, the Roseman new Sheriff Substation, which is going to start construction hopefully here at the beginning or at the end of 2026, beginning of 2027. I know the community is really looking forward to the state-of-the-art facility. The Sheriff's Department's been a big help too, and this is just a shout out to you. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Supervisor. Are there any members of the public that would like to provide a comment on the consent items?
We have no registered speakers.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that being said, I'll bring it back to the board for discussion or motion.
Chair,
Yes.
I have a question.
I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
Thank you, no problem. I literally just did it, so my apologies. I understand there's a member of the public that has a question about item number 20. So I want to ask my chair how we should manage that matter. I know they want to ask us a question. My understanding is there are labor negotiations happening literally as we speak, scheduled for 2 p.m. today, which is interesting timing. But nonetheless, I understand Mr. Chaplin is here that can shed some light on whether the workforce that is currently in place is going to have a position, going to have some leverage opportunity with the new business. I don't know, Josh, if you're here, if you could maybe shed some light on that, that would be helpful. And if there are any other members of the public, thank you. I would appreciate that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Supervisor.
My apologies. I just literally
Director
learned of it momentarily.
Chairman, members of the board. I believe this is, so Christian found me earlier at the board meeting today, and I think this is from the Teamsters Union, and the question was about utilizing their workforce. So item 20 of the agenda is We're awarding a contract to a provider who does the bus route servicing for us, who provides all the dispatching and the bus drivers. And that agreement is solely for the company provider. The Teamster Union, regardless of who we would have chosen, that union is the workforce for any one of these providers. So their status doesn't change, regardless of who we choose through the RFP
I see.
process.
Okay.
Does that help?
That is so helpful. Thank you so very much. Unless there's somebody here who would like to speak on that matter. Well,
Sure.
actually, they're not registered under their new system. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no
Forgive me.
problem.
I forgot about that. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
I'm so sorry.
Actually, before you sit down, ma'am, just because this is a kind of a different circumstance, could we invite the speaker to come down and just share your name and make your comments?
Chair Peters, thank you so much. To the public, I am sorry about this slight change. We are changing to a new system, but I always want to give the public every opportunity to weigh in on anything that their government is doing. Chair?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Imelda Ceja. I'm a community affairs representative representing the Teamsters Local 87, and we represent the We Drive You. And the first we found out about them being sold out to the MTU was the last time it was on your agenda, and for whatever reason it was pulled. We are, the members already ratified their contract, so everything is there. We just want to make sure that everything is still in place regardless, so we can have it pulled for this one time. As a matter of fact, right now, the Secretary Treasurer, Supervisors having a meeting with MTU. They drove up from LA, and so we're having their discussions. We just want to make sure that everything in our contract follows through, and so we can pull it from consent agenda at this point in time. We continue having those communications. Everything is going well, but we just want to make sure to protect the members, and so we can have it pulled just this one time. So we can continue having these communications with MTU. And seeing the transition, it's my understanding that all the employees will have to reapply for their jobs. So we just want to make sure that they have a job, at the end, which I'm sure it will be, but just to be on the safe side, if we can just have it pulled this one more time, I would appreciate it, but.
Okay. Thank you, Imelda. I really appreciate it. I wanted you to have an opportunity to weigh in. I think the matter is properly on consent. If my colleagues are interested in changing that, I would invite that. But hearing from Mr. Chaplin and hearing on the progress that has been made, I'm hesitant to pull a matter a second time under the circumstances. I think I'm not sure that it's appropriate or proper. But I'm confident in the representations that were made earlier by Josh. I trust him. I believe he's being truthful, and I appreciate you bringing this to our attention at this time, and we're going to continue to keep a very close eye on it. But I don't know that it's appropriate to pull it from consent agenda at this time.
And again, it's going to go through. We just want to make sure that things are in place. They were already the lowest bid, and we respect that. And again, we don't have no problem with NTU. We just want to make sure that our members are protected, and so we want to continue having these conversations.
Okay, thank you for your input.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd ask my colleagues, if you want to weigh in on the matter, I'm not asking you to. I'm just asking if you would like to.
Yeah, from my understanding of it, it wasn't so much pulling it from the consent as it was tabling it to another meeting, or in order for those conversations to happen that are happening are scheduled, I believe, for 2:00. But as Director Champlin said, this has been through our process, and the vendor's been selected, and there won't be any changes as far as the union is concerned. So I would be in favor of moving forward.
Thank you. I think that's a fair position, given the representations that have been made. Thank you, Imelda, for being here, and I appreciate the process. Thank you, Chair. I really appreciate your indulgence today.
Thank you.
I try very hard not to do that again.
No problem. Thank you. Okay, that being said, is there any additional conversation or a motion on the consent agenda from the board?
Motion to approve consent.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Okay, thank you. That takes us to item number 1 under resolutions and proclamations, and that is a resolution honoring Monica Molika from Human Resources Division upon her retirement with 36 years of dedicated service to the County of Kern. And if I was incorrect on pronunciation of that name, I apologize. But that will be with Supervisor Perez, and I would invite her to make that motion.
Okay, thank you. Motion on the resolution.
Second.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Molika. Kind of like Monica. Oh, yay. Good job.
This is Abigail.
Abigail Molika, and sir? Jim, good to meet you. Okay, come on over. You can come around this way. I'd like for folks to be able to see you on television. That's always a nice treat. You can see yourself up there and adjust accordingly. Sorry. I'm so sorry about that. I want to make sure, especially when we see the little one. How wonderful. What a great moment. You will always remember this. How precious. For starters, Monica we did it again. Molika is very unique. Monica Molika, I want you to know that this is an incredible honor for me to be able to present to the public as well as to you and your loved ones the incredible contributions that you have made to human beings here in Kern County, our neighbors, our brothers and sisters, Kern County family. And it is a sacred space that we create here in this chambers where we honor you as an individual, and we thank you. It's always bittersweet to lose the institutional knowledge, to lose the physical aspect of you being here every day. We know that your spirit remains and that your work goes on in perpetuity from the investments that you have made. But this is really special and sacred, and I want to say thank you for the privilege and the honor. Molika began her career, I get a little nervous, sorry, with Kern County on May 21, 1990, as an admitting clerk 1-2 at Kern Medical Center. She later became a receptionist in the personnel department, helping onboard new employees and managing benefits. In 1996, Ms. Molika joined the County Administrative Office Health Benefits Division as a benefit clerk. Over 30 years, she advanced through various roles, and in September 2023 was promoted to Deputy Chief Human Resources Officer. And throughout her career, Monica played a vital role in supporting Kern County employees and retirees through the administration of employee health and wellness benefits. She provided exceptional service and guidance, ensuring the successful delivery of benefit programs for thousands of county employees, retirees, their families, special districts. Monica was instrumental in transforming Kern County's self-insured health benefits program by developing sustainable benefit strategies that expanded affordable, high-quality health care options for employees and retirees. Her knowledge was integral to the creation and implementation of the Kern Legacy Plans, which provide benefit options designed to meet evolving healthcare needs while promoting long-term fiscal responsibility and preserving the county's commitment to exceptional employee benefits. My family's on this system. Thank you very much. Monica's dedication and expertise have strengthened the county's post-employment health benefit program, ensuring benefits are available for retirees and their families after their county service. I don't know that there's anything more important to a retiree. I really don't. Thank you. The continuity, the security, the dignity the dignity. Throughout her 36 years of service, Monica has earned the respect of county leadership employees and retirees for her institutional knowledge and commitment to public service. And on August 14, 2026, Deputy Chief Human Resources Officer Monica Mollica, oh my goodness, I get nervous, will retire after 36 years, basically my entire life. And a few more. 36 years of dedicated service to Kern County residents. Her many contributions have had a meaningful and lasting impact on the lives of county employees and retirees. And she has wished continued health and the best in your future endeavors. Here, let it be resolved, the Board of Supervisors of the County of Kern, State of California, does hereby honor and commend you upon your retirement with 36 years of dignity, of honor, of longevity, and loyalty from Kern County through your hands. God bless you. Thank you for your work. We're eager to hear from you. But thank you so much, Monica. Thank you for my family, my children, my husband, and the many families of this community whose lives are directly impacted by your care, concern, and TLC. Thank you so much. Also, all the work that your department has done to help us make Christmas beautiful and memorable right here for our county employees and for the public that comes and gets to enjoy and celebrate Christmas with us. Thank you for that. And all the work done in our back-to-school projects here in Kern County that you all have been so helpful. I want to present this resolution to you. It has been signed by all county supervisors, of course by our Honorable Chair, Philip Peters, and this is going into the permanent record of Kern County. It will be here in perpetuity. Long after you and me are left this earth, this will remain. Your record, your contributions, they are in the record permanently and in perpetuity. God bless you, thank you, and this is for you. Share a few words?
Oh, me first. Oh, sorry, excuse me, forgive me. I'm going to butt in first. Everybody knows me. I always have to get a word in. So indulge me just for a second, my love. No. Come with me. So throughout her time with the Health and Wellness team, Monica has led the charge in diversifying benefits while providing white glove customer service, all while diligently managing employee dollars. Monica always reminds us in health benefits that we manage employee dollars 2 times over. Once as a taxpayer and another as an employee. 36 years is hard to imagine, and I think some of your staff is younger than that.
Oh my God.
And myself, along with the entire Kern County family, are grateful Monica chose to spend those years with us. I am also especially thankful that nearly 18 years ago, Monica greeted me at the door with a smile and offered to show me the ropes. It was her idea to put the deaf person on the phone, but it worked, so we'll just go with it. Every health benefits employee behind me, she has taught them, and she has taught them well. So thank you, Monica. I'm excited to hear about you, Jim, Timmy's upcoming adventures, and many more grandma days to you. So we are truly thankful for your years of service, and we wish you an enjoyable retirement.
Somebody here to take. You're so sweet. Oh my goodness. Did you like this? Yes, very good. Let me open this here. Oh, can you come in? Come on in, please. Here we go. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I hope your time is restful and wonderful with your family. For me, wow. You can have it, Tara. Oh, you're gorgeous. Wow.
Now we can, I'll go in this, you guys can be straight on this side. Here. I'll have you guys turn this a little bit down.
I was the only one that's not chicken to be in front of us.
Miss Malika, who's the little one here with you?
This is my granddaughter, Abigail.
Oh, very cool. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your service, for everything you've done for Kern County. And Tracy, if you guys are looking for a part-time hire to help pick up the slack, I think she might be able to get everybody straightened out.
She's been training.
Perfect.
I do want to say thank you to everybody. It's been an amazing 36 years. Thinking back at starting at Kern Medical was a scary day. My first day, it was a motor vehicle accident with handicapped children. So right off the bat, I knew I was where I needed to be. And being there, helping and caring for them is what I strive to do. And as I grew older, my family grew, so they were behind me 100%. As I grew in with health benefits, I learned so much more, that not only that I had my family, I had my county family to make sure they were all well. So I did my job with pride, understanding that I was working with taxpayer dollars and respecting that wholehearted. So I did what I loved, and I want to say thank you for giving me that opportunity to do for the last 36 years. Thank you.
Well, thank you for everything you've given Kern County over the last 36 years, and I wish you and your family the best of luck in retirement, and hope you guys enjoy yourselves.
Thank you very much.
Okay, our next item on the agenda is going to be public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons to address the board on any matter that's not on this agenda, but it's under the jurisdiction of the board. Board members may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed, ask questions for clarification, or make referral to staff for factual information, or request staff to report back to the board at a later meeting. The board may also take action to direct staff to place a matter of business on a future agenda. And speakers are limited to 2 minutes. Do we have anybody registered to speak under public presentations?
We have no registered speakers.
Okay, thank you. We do have somebody here. I apologize. I didn't register, but can we make public comment or not? Okay, yeah, we'll have you down, and I think maybe in the future we need to make an announcement about the registration process as part of this. Sorry, we're moving into a new system here, so no problem at all. Come on down. Could you state your name and spell it for the record before you make your comment, please?
Yeah, definitely. Ricardo Del Hoyo, Ricardodelhoyo, and Isaac Doria.
ISAACDORIA.
Good afternoon, Chairman and fellow board members. Good to see Supervisor Parlier, Flores, Peters, Perez, and Couch. I saw Supervisor Perez last week, so it's back-to-back at the Child Services Department event. But we're here today on behalf of Raíces, of Kern. Our board and our organization is a nonprofit organization that visited your offices last week and gave you guys a sponsorship packet. We are having an event coming up on October 10th. And so we just wanted to formally invite you and tell you guys a little bit about our organization and what we plan to do with this event and where the proceeds go to.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Isaac Doria, current president of Raíces of Kern. And our mission at Raíces of Kern is to inspire, enlighten, and empower individuals who are looking to push themselves into higher education, as well as young aspiring entrepreneurs. And the event that is taking place in October at Strambler Park is just to showcase the diversity that we have here in the Kern County area and make those entrepreneurs and aspiring students known to the resources available to them here in the area.
This is our third year doing Cultura Fest. The first year was a good turnout, about 300 to 400 people attended. Last year, because of the ICE raids, we had a health fair at South High. So on our second year, we decided not to have a community gathering event. And so this year we're back. We're gonna be at Strambler Park. I believe that's in District 3. And so we are inviting the community, we're inviting the supervisors and their offices to provide information, resources, We're looking to have about 500 to 700 people in attendance this year, so the invitation is there, and we are kindly and humbly asking for a sponsorship. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, before we move on to board member announcements, could I ask our clerk to just share with everybody here how they can register, just because we still have 3 more items to consider, items 31, 33, and 34, and I want to make sure everybody's informed on that.
Yeah, so there are QR codes posted on each of the doors and at the back as you walk in, and also 2 members of my staff are in the back. So if you are here and they can help you register, they can do it for you if you're here to speak on 31, 33, or 34.
Thank you for that. Okay, our next item is board member announcements and reports. Are there any questions or comments or reports from the board? Okay, I'm not seeing any. That will take us to our next item, which is item 31, and that is a response to the July 14th referral regarding Assembly Joint Resolution 23, and that will be with Mr. Thomas Brown, I believe.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the board. Today's item is presented in response to your July 14th referral, requesting additional information on Assembly Joint Resolution, or AJR 23, which proposes splitting California into 2 separate states. The conceptual map divides the state by carving out 35 inland counties, which is on the screen for folks in the audience, while leaving the remaining coastal counties in the original state boundary. My goal today is to briefly summarize what AJR 23 is, where it currently stands in the legislative process, and to clarify what would be required both procedurally and constitutionally for any new state to be formed. To start, AJR 23 is a non-binding, mostly symbolic measure originally authored in 2025 by Assemblymember Gallagher and re-authored in June 2026 by Assemblymember Hadwick. In addition to the principal author, a total of 7 Republican legislators have joined on as co-authors of the bill, including Assemblymember Ellis and Lackey, both who represent Kern. It's important to note that AJR 23 does not change any county boundaries, create new governance structures, or implement any policy. Its purpose is strictly advisory, communicating sentiment rather than enacting action. At this time, AJR 23 remains in the Assembly Rules Committee, where it has been held since June 8th with no movement or referral to a policy committee. Given this trajectory, it's widely viewed as unlikely to advance further. Any action taken by Kern County at this late juncture in the legislative session would be largely symbolic, as the measure is not positioned to proceed this year. Beyond the resolution status, I'd like to provide a broad picture of the constitutional processes required to create a new state. Even if AJR 23 were adopted by the legislature and signed by the governor, the measure itself would not form a new state. Under Article 4, Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution, several major steps must occur. First, the California legislature and the governor must formally consent to any proposal to divide the state. AJR 23 attempts to express intent, but is not itself an approval mechanism. Formal consent would require additional legislative action. Next, Congress must ratify the creation of a new state. Historically, Congress expects clear evidence of local public support, such as regional elections or petitions. A draft constitution for the proposed new state would also need to be prepared and ratified to establish its governance structure. Congress would typically adopt an enabling act outlining the formal steps for moving forward, such as a constitutional convention or other ratification procedure. Finally, Congress must pass the law admitting the new state into the Union, requiring majority votes in both chambers and the president's signature. Upon admission, the new state would assume full sovereignty and work with California to negotiate the division of assets, liabilities, and administrative systems. This federal process is highly complex and has not been successfully completed for more than 150 years, with West Virginia being the last state in the Union to form from an existing state. As a result, while AJR 23 signals interest in exploring the concept, it represents only the smallest initial step in a far longer and historically challenging pathway. For some additional historical context, according to the California State Library, since its founding, there have been more than 220 failed attempts to break up California. In 1859, voters in California overwhelmingly approved splitting the state into 2, However, Congress did not act on this proposal due to the Civil War. In one of the most recent efforts, San Bernardino County released a study in 2024 centered around secession from the state, noting that it would not only be procedurally and legally challenging, but could likely result in financial loss due to the significant economies of scale the state achieves in providing services to businesses and state residents. A new state would have to establish all of the services that were once the responsibility of the parent state and likely have to do so with less dollars per capita to spend. For perspective on the proposed split outlined in AJR 23, the 23 coastal counties would retain roughly $2.8 trillion, or 85% of the roughly $3.3 trillion comprised of California's real GDP. By comparison, the 35 inland counties, of which Kern would be a part of, would only retain $508 billion, or 15% of the state's current GDP. The remaining coastal California would still be the #1 GDP state in the Union, while inland California, we'll call it, would plummet to 16th place, putting it below Michigan and above Colorado. None of the fiscal ramifications of a state split have been included in the legislative text found in AJR 23. This concludes staff's prepared comments. The recommended action is for your board to receive and file this report and provide further direction as desired.
Okay, thank you for that. Are there any members of the public that want to comment on this item?
We have no speakers.
Okay, thank you. I'll bring it back to the board, and since I made the referral, I'll start. I was approached by then Assemblymember Gallagher, now Congressman Gallagher, about this proposal a while back, and he was sharing it around with some of the counties that would be impacted by this and asking for them to weigh in. And you know, after looking at it, you know, California is a huge state. Our area in particular is very different from a lot of California with our ag, oil, you know, industrial, military installations here. We live in a different California than a lot of the folks that are having a more outsized voice than we are, a lot of the Bay Area and coastal communities. And those priorities are difficult to, I would say, make sure that they're heard at the state level. So I think there's a reasonable question about whether the government as it is at the state level can effectively represent an area this large and diverse with so many drastically different issues. But what I really like about this resolution in particular, though, is that it starts a conversation. It doesn't say, let's divide California today. It gives communities an opportunity to look at whether there might be a different path forward that would be beneficial. And as Thomas noted, there would still be a long way to go, significant hurdles to clear, and this would just be kind of the start of that conversation. And frankly, I feel that many of us would agree that government works best when it's closer to the people, when people feel like their voices are heard, that their elected officials understand their communities, and that decisions that are being made actually reflect the realities of their lives. So with that, I'm going to support a letter of, or excuse me, I'll make a motion that we send a letter of support for this Assembly Joint Resolution 23. But I welcome any thoughts or discussion from any of my colleagues. Supervisor Parlier.
Thank you, Chairman. I really never gave this a whole lot of thought until I first ran for office. And traveling through District 2, this came up a lot more times than I thought it would through various constituents, both on the west side and the east side, and asked me questions about it numerous times. And so I had to do some research, and you know, some of the stuff that you brought up and was brought up regarding this possible resolution to you know, try and share information and educate both my future constituents and myself through the process. Now, do I think this is going to happen? Just like I told my constituents, probably not. But I know that we come back here from time to time, and especially when we're talking about our oil industry and the impact that the state has Ag is another, water is another, that these are big issues. And if this gives us a stronger ability just to voice those issues within the context of our current state, I think that's a good thing. So I'll join you, my friend, and I'll support you on this.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Any other thoughts or comments from the board? Supervisor Couch?
Well, reading the board letter, it was clear to me that this was to receive and file a report and provide directions. So if we want to have a letter that we sign, or even that the board, the chairman of the board signs, I would ask that we come back at our, whatever meeting you want to come back at, with what that language is in the letter that we can actually vote on, not just, I mean, this is a pretty major step. I don't want to just say, sure, send a letter off to the legislature. I'd like to see what the letter says. And I did not read the Assembly Joint Resolution because I thought we were just going to have a discussion today and not take any action. So that's my request, is let's bring back a letter that we can all look at before we approve that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Perez?
Thank you, Chair. I support Supervisor Couch's direction on how a potential next step. And I want to say that there are times in which I meet with somebody who's never been to Kern County, don't really understand much about Kern County, but they want to, which is really cool. And one way in which I help people understand Kern County is, I often say, we're not far from the beach, the cost of living is reasonable, and we're only a couple of hours from California. Everybody likes that one. And I appreciate, respect the sentiment of where my colleague Supervisor Peters is coming from with this. As I know him, I know his heart, and I know the perpetual frustration that we feel in Kern County and many parts of the state around frankly, an inability to, I think, really give us the dignity that we deserve by being real partners in the process. I was encouraged last year with the oil and gas legislation. I remain encouraged by that there are opportunities to learn and grow and teach more about Kern County and its absolutely integral, critical role in the state, in the nation. I mean, we're the fourth largest economy in the world, and Kern County is just such a huge part of that. We'd like to feel that we have the respect and dignity that comes with that reality. So I appreciate entirely where you're coming from, Peters. I feel you, I hear you. This is, as Supervisor Couch indicated, a huge, big, critical step, and I'd like to see a letter, and I'd actually have to seriously consider it. Frankly, as politically charged and difficult as it is, I think, coming from a good place, and I have to give that serious consideration. But I would ask, along with Couch, an ability to see what a letter would look like and how we communicate creatively who we are and how we'd like to be at the table in a way that is meaningful to people outside of here, not something that necessarily just will be blown off, but a meaningful, continual pushing of the state to give Kern County its fair place and respect. So those are my thoughts.
Thank you, Supervisor, and hopefully you won't mind that I'm going to steal that line about being 2 hours from California. That's a good one.
I did less original to me too, so go for it.
Perfect. Supervisor Flores.
Apologize. Just for a matter of clarification, is that two separate motions? Are we still fleshing it out?
Yeah, so if Supervisor, well, actually, before I change my motion, I wanted to ask Thomas, just as far as, it's not just the timing of this board, but also the legislative calendar, and would deferring this to our next meeting prevent us from providing that feedback to the legislature while
Chairman
it's in
Peters,
session?
it would be a razor-thin margin. So if we brought it back, I think the next meeting's the 25th. I think the legislature, this legislative session is done at the end of August, so we'd be talking about a couple of days.
Okay.
So probably not realistic time for him to move anything.
This might be a question for our legal counsel then. If we voted today to, let's just say, send a letter in support of the resolution, would that would that be acceptable, or do we have the ability for Thomas to get feedback from each individual supervisor? I mean, certainly not discuss it amongst ourselves, but receive input from individual supervisors on that letter in order that he could get it out in a more timely fashion.
I've been sitting here kind of mulling this over because Supervisor Couch is right that it was on there just for receive and file and provide direction to staff. And I was trying to weigh whether or not providing direction could include sending a letter of support, or whether that required a motion, which is more of an action taken. And I think that we've done that before, where we have asked staff to provide, where you have provided direction to staff to support something without a motion. Am I correct on that, Thomas? You do have a legislative committee. I don't know if that committee is going to meet between now and then.
No, it would, but not to overly complicate this, but could we, give conditional approval on this just for staff to draft a letter of support pending approval of county council? That way it gives you some time to research it.
Yes, you can do that.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I want to be clear what you're asking. You want to know whether or not you can draft a letter of support that, are you wanting it?
Just essentially, I mean, just like we do on many other issues that are in our public policy platform, anything else, just a simple, Kern County is in support.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be much more complicated than that, I don't think.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I mean, I think that would require a majority vote of your Board of Supervisors. I think that if you want to go ahead and take the motion now, we can take that as direction, as providing direction. I don't think that's a far stretch, because generally you do provide direction on these types of matters. So I think if you took a motion at this point, we could go ahead and work on that letter.
Okay. Well, I will say, before we go back to Supervisor Flores, as Supervisor Parlier seconded it, I would amend my motion to reflect that language, if that's acceptable to you. Sure.
Go ahead, Chair.
Okay. So actually, maybe County Council, if you could clarify what that motion would be as far as providing, the board would be providing direction to.
I think what you need is a motion, the motion as you stated it, to see if your board's in support of supporting this legislative action. So I think your motion as you stated it is fine. I'm just, as an aside, I'm saying I believe that motion could stand as direction to the board as opposed to taking a formal action.
Okay, understood. Okay,
I hope that makes sense.
It does to me.
Okay.
We'll get some more input from the board, and I'll just go to Supervisor Flores for your comments right now. Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you, Chairman, for asking for more clarification. I need a little bit more just so I know what I'm voting on. So I think, and I don't want to speak for you, I want to make sure I'm properly understanding what you're asking for. So is your motion an as-is motion to support the bill? Is it different than Couch's motion of coming back with something new, or what's yours?
Yeah, so my motion would be just to take a position of support on this bill, and then ostensibly staff could work with supervisors to provide any additional context that they may want to express. But I think it's.
Can I just quickly interject a quick?
Sure.
Thank you so much, Chair. Is it the case, because we don't have anything in front of us, so it's a little ambiguous, but is the motion that you made asking your colleagues to say whether we support the breaking up of California into two states? I mean, is that really what we're doing here? If we could clarify that would be helpful.
Sure.
Or, to say we support this idea that, we don't get our fair share from Sacramento, we don't, and we don't get treated right, that we don't. I believe that entirely. But I would just want to clarify, is the motion saying, I, Leticia Perez, support breaking up California into 2 states? That's just, I want to clarify that. Because I'm with you, and I respect you, and I want to support you because I know you're acting in good faith.
Understood. I appreciate that. Well, we have the actual text of the bill here. Just for simplicity's sake, I don't know that the board has had enough time to digest this. So, if it's the desire of my colleagues to bring this back, I guess I would entertain that. I think it's unfortunate that we can't get it in a little bit sooner just to have a chance to have a little bit more meaningful impact, but I get the hesitance, certainly without having the full picture.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
if amenable, regarding Supervisor Couch and Perez's statement and Flores too, if you would allow time for maybe our legislative director to be able to, again, work through the process of a correspondence that would, again, be amenable to maybe a broader section of the board, and then we'll have an opportunity to review it. We come back and take a look at it at that time, or have an opportunity beforehand to take a look at it. I think that might be, something that would be more positive of potentially a support nature.
Okay. Yeah, that works for me. So I'll, it's getting a little
Yeah, I would
complicated.
welcome more time too. I mean,
Okay.
I don't want to overly
Yeah,
complicate
understood.
it, but I see where you're going, I think I see where you're going with this, because I'm totally frustrated with Sacramento. Symbolically, I'm on board. Sacramento's been totally adversarial to our interests and to our values. I just want to make sure that in terms of even as remote implementation as it might be, I just want to make sure that I understand the actual ramifications of implementation, what counties, and I saw a brief graph of the counties in question, but I need a better understanding of economic implications, tax implications, what does this do, what counties we're aligned with, because the counties I saw aren't exactly the richest. So if we're just with Imperial and Inyo and these other counties, what are the ramifications for us in Kern? I need a bigger treatment and discussion for a vote for me. That's just one
Understood.
person.
Appreciate it. So I know a lot of ground's been covered. I don't know, Supervisor Couch, Supervisor Perez, if you still wanted to speak on this, provide additional comments.
I had a question, and it was just, Thomas, Thomas Brown, it's not in our legislative platform, adopted legislative platform, that would allow you to answer or to take a position or to draft a letter for the chairman's signature. Is that right?
Supervisor Couch, through the chair, that's correct.
On this subject, okay. So, because of that, I think it makes, I'm repeating myself, but I think it makes sense to, and I would prefer this letter say something more than just, we're in favor of splitting up California. I think we ought to make some very specific points that have been mentioned already. I won't go over them again, but let's not waste the time to just print and fire off a letter that says, hey, we're for AJR 23. Let's say more than that in this letter. Say that, but we can say more. Thank you.
Yeah, I think if you buttress it, that'd be great.
Okay, so I'll withdraw my motion and recommend that we bring this back for a vote at our next meeting, if that's amenable. Okay.
I can move that motion or second your motion.
I think I still have a second from Supervisor Parley, so we'll just call for a vote, but I thank you.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Okay, thank you. That takes us to item number 33, under General Services Division. Identify an apparent low, responsive, and responsible bid and approve contract number SC 26-0002 with Nagel Earthworks for Riverside Park embankment repairs. And that'll be with our Director of General Services, Michelle Burns-Lusage.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the board. Before you today, as you stated, this is to identify the low bidder and approve contract for construction at Riverside Park embankment repairs. So March of 2023 at Riverside Park in Kernville, we experienced extreme flooding due to heavy rains, record snowpack, and rapid snowmelt. This is an image here that many residents are familiar with. This is immediately after the water had receded out of the park. Still very high rapids running right there with the sidewalk that was along the edge of the park that is just folded up like a deck of cards. And much erosion there. The native ground has been washed away, leaving some of the boulders there along the embankment. So the peak height of the river at Kernville was 18.6 feet. The peak flow at the North Fork was 44,000 cubic feet per second. And to just put an image in your mind, a basketball is 1 cubic foot. So that is 44,000 basketballs flowing down the river per second. Now, Lake Isabella reached 100% capacity for the first time in nearly 15 years at that point. So as a result, your board declared an emergency, the state of California declared an emergency, and ultimately the president declared an emergency, making this project eligible for FEMA funds. Immediately after the floodwaters receded out of the park, Kern County General Services was able to move forward with Category A and Category B. This is debris removal and emergency protective measures and demolition and backfill. The photo you see at the top left-hand corner was similar to the photo you just saw. The photo over to the right is after we had demolished the broken sidewalk and removed some of the debris, getting it ready for the temporary improvements, which was just backfilling of the soil and then rebuilding the sidewalk which came along during the park restoration. So the bottom photo there, August 26, is what it currently looks like right now. Now again, the bench in each of these photos is the same bench. Top left-hand corner is early March of 23 after the floodwaters had come out of the park, but still up high enough that it is covering the embankment. The photo to the right shows the erosion that occurred while those floodwaters were running along the embankment. And then again, bottom left-hand corner is what the embankment currently looks like, still very exposed and vulnerable with very little rock slope protection on the slope. So phase one, we decided to split this project into 2 phases. Mostly due to approval of the scope for the embankment. We hadn't received that yet from FEMA, and also because we knew that the environmental clearance on the embankment project was going to be a very long process. We knew that we can move forward with the park improvements or repairs and deliver the park portion back to the community. So we proceeded with phase one, which again was funded by FEMA. The contract came in just under $1.5 million. The scope was to repair the multi-use courts, the picnic and exercise equipment, the play and exercise equipment, picnic areas, benches, turf, irrigation system, and restore electrical to the park. The duration of this project started in August of 24 and was completed in June of 25. And this photo was taken the day of the ribbon cutting when we were able to open the park back up to the community. So now moving into phase two. This is Riverside Park embankment repair. Just a timeline here so that you can grasp what it took for us to get to where we're at today. So again, the incident occurred in March of 23. In September of 23, FEMA came to the site for the first time. So this was 7 months after the flood event. And they came out to determine and prepare the damage description and dimensions. And FEMA refers to this as the DDD report. In January of 24, Kern County General Services began the environmental permitting process with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the California Division of Fish and Wildlife, and the California Department of Water Resources. March of 25, FEMA approved the scope of work for project approval. And then in March of 26, an internationally recognized AECOM firm completed our design, and AECOM, just for your information, is here in the audience in case there are any particular questions regarding the design. Our experts here will be able to answer those questions for you. In May of 26, your board approved those plans that were prepared by AECOM, and we moved into the bidding process for construction. So here we are today, phase 2. Again, this is funded by FEMA. The contract amount is proposed to be at $500,000. The scope of work includes grading, fill, rock slope protection, and removal of dead trees. We anticipate the construction duration to be 100 days. And in this photo, you see here is a picture of the embankment. You can see about 50% of the rock slope protection is missing along the embankment, again, leaving this vulnerable to continued erosion should a floodwater event occur, which from what I have heard in the forecast that we are expecting another super El Nino this year. Now, one of the concerns that we've heard from the community are access points to the river. There are 2 access points currently at Riverside Park, and one of those is the beach area. And very large area with, you can see the flow of the water is very smooth, so that I consider this a safer location to enter into and enjoy the edge of the river. And the other area is the raft area. This is the launch point where many of the local commercial rafting companies take out rafts or pull out rafts. I also wanted to share with you a couple of examples that I found on the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers website, rock slope protection flood mitigation measures that were used in a couple of their projects, most recently up in Alaska in May of 26, and then back in 2021 up in Washington. So therefore, the department respectfully requests your board to decline to make any changes to the approved project, identify the apparent low, responsive, and responsible bid, approve the contract, authorize Chief General Services Officer to sign, and authorize General Services to release all other bid guarantees. Thank you for your consideration.
Well, thank you for that presentation and for all of your work and your department's work on this. That park up there is just unbelievable to go see now compared to what it looked like after that damage occurred. It's pretty remarkable. Do we have any speakers that are registered to speak on this item?
We have one remote speaker, Chris Brown.
Hi, my name is Chris Brown, and I'm one of the Forest Service permitted outfitters on the Kern. I'm also a member of the Kernville Chamber of Commerce and a board member for the Kern Valley Council. I think one of the things that folks up here are concerned about is the riprap along the edge of the river is kind of a hazard. And I know that there are potential other alternatives, and this is pretty far down the path. But I feel like a lot of the folks up here don't feel very engaged in county decisions. And I would like you guys to reconsider alternatives. But more than that, I just want to interject myself and let you guys know that we want to have a working, good relationship with the county. And it feels like in situations like this, the local folks are kind of an afterthought. I know the riprap was in there previously, but this park is the crown jewel of our little town and is one of the most used parks in all of Kern County. And what we want to see is secure banks, but also something that is inviting to the folks who are here. I know with the previous riprap, there was an injury within a year or two of people scrambling along the rocks. And ideally for us up here, long-term, there is something that is long-term stable and more inviting the folks who use the park.
Mr. Brown, could we get you to bring your comments to a close? We're over the time limit.
Sure. That's pretty much what I wanted to say, but I appreciate the fact that you guys are repairing the park and just wanted you to consider other alternatives.
Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate your comments.
We have no further speakers.
Okay, thank you. Just to address some of the concerns that were brought up, it's something that we've heard a few times, but could you share just a little bit about the ways that, or what we've done as we've gone through this process? As far as I know, we've had meetings with the community up there. We've put out multiple things since going back since phase 1 about rock slope protection and what we are allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do with FEMA funding, et cetera, and just ways that are basically how we've got to this point.
Yes, Supervisor Peters. We have had several meetings with the community, including yourself and staff. We have addressed their concerns in the sense that explained that this project is funded through FEMA, which means we have to restore the conditions back to pre-flood conditions and function. So there was riprap there along riprap or rock slope protection along the embankment prior to the flood, and that is what is eligible for us to reconstruct.
Understood, thank you. And so that's something that I feel like we've repeated a lot of times, but hasn't really been, I guess, really absorbed by the community up there. Is while there may be other ways to stabilize the slope and things that could be looked at down the road, as of right now, FEMA prescribes how we have to do that work. And if it's a binary choice whether or not we move forward with this project or we don't. It's not any more complicated than that. And if we don't, especially as you mentioned, if this is potentially another super El Nino year, that the embankment, the park, that whole area is at risk of the investment that we put into it. And as you mentioned, it took FEMA 7 months to come out after the last flood, and at least a couple of years to work through the permitting on it just to replace what was already there, let alone a different project. So the implication of not moving forward with this is really that this park, the embankment, that whole area will be jeopardized for years while we come up with something else. It's not as simple as just moving into a different project, and that's if the park doesn't get destroyed in a flooding event, and that's if we get funding from FEMA to replace something that we didn't take the first initial investment to protect. So there's a lot of concerns, and I hear the concerns from the public certainly, but it's critical that we do what we can and what we have to do right now to protect this park and this infrastructure. One other comment that I've heard brought up multiple times, though, is access to the river. And I think that there's a real fear that this project would inhibit river access at the park. So could you just explain that a little bit, how that will look under the new project? I know you mentioned it, but I just want to really reiterate it for some folks that may not have that vision.
Of course, Chairman. So as I mentioned, I scrolled back here to the slide that I had up before. There are 2 locations that are currently the access points at Riverside Park that allow access down to the river, and that is at the beach location and at the raft location. And this makes up 21% of the embankment along Riverside Park. So these are the areas that where we recommend that people use to safely go down and navigate down to the river's edge. There is rock slope protection along the rest of the embankment and has been. Now, there is a significant portion missing currently from that embankment, and that is what we are trying to repair and bring back into the state prior to the flood.
Understood. Well, thank you for that explanation. With that, I will bring it back to the board for any questions or comments. Supervisor Couch.
The smartest thing for me to do right now would be to say absolutely nothing about this project. I just have a couple of quick questions. I understand the need to do what you're doing, and I mean, FEMA's paying for it. They're going to replace what was there, and it's not going to cost us anything, and it's an expensive project, right? So once that's done, that doesn't mean we're done necessarily. Are there other projects, forget about how to fund them for a second. Are there other projects that would, maybe not satisfy, but would address the community's concerns that have been brought forward that we could do in the future if funding were obtained, is that possible?
Supervisor Couch, the chair.
Anything's possible?
Anything is possible with the appropriate funding and the clearance from the regulatory agencies.
So once we use FEMA's money, if there's another project that was envisioned, do we have to go back to FEMA and get their approval?
No.
If it's in conjunction with, okay, we do not have to ask. It's just, who would we be dealing with? The Department of Fish and Wildlife?
The 3 entities that I listed there.
The 3 that you mentioned.
And
Okay.
there may be other entities. I would have to consult my civil engineer, but there might be another one that would need to provide environmental clearance
So
if it involved any kind of
Okay.
feature that was in the river.
Gotcha. So I don't think Supervisor Peters is going to forget about the Kern River and Kernville and this project at all. And I would hope, and I promise him I would be willing to work with him in the future on some project like that I just described, if that's the will of his office, the will of the community. So hopefully there's a way to get there. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Couch. Supervisor Flores?
Thank you, Chairman. My district faced a similar issue in Hart Park during the same flood year with the same erosion, different banks, of course, and we were dealing with FEMA and riprap as well, and I had some similar concerns about some of the stakeholders along the Kern River, and we finally came to agreement, and those were the terms under FEMA, those were the money, and we have an obligation for public safety and for restoration and for a number of arguments. And so I was well served in Hart Park, and I know that Chairman Peters is a fierce advocate for the KRV and for the Kern River and for tourism and for safety, and this is the path forward, and it's FEMA guidelines, and we have to do our best to capture that federal money in times like this and restore the park area and the riverbank. So I'm going to support staff's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Flores. I appreciate that context. And Supervisor Couch, I'll definitely be taking you up on that next year. Okay, well, with that, if there's no other, I'm sorry, Supervisor Perez.
Just wanted to say thank you, Michelle. This is beautiful. And I know how Peters feels because you've completely transformed Eastside Parks, and it is such a great feeling. And are there concerns along the way from members of the public? Always, always. We're experiencing it right now, right? And that's, I think, to be expected, and to the degree that's humanly possible, we want to address everybody's issues. So I love the proposals from Couch to Peters, as I think they can do a lot together. But just want to say thank you. This is beautiful. Congratulations to you, Peters. I know how important this project is and has been, but this is really, really nice. And it's beautiful, and I appreciate it. very much. So happy to support these efforts.
Thank you, Supervisor Perez, and thank you again, Michelle, to you and your team for all your work on this. And, you know, for the community, I just encourage everybody to stay engaged and keep partnering with us. And there's, you know, we're open to ideas and suggestions, and we want to work collaboratively to make that area as inviting and as safe and useful as possible. So with that, I will make a recommendation to approve, or excuse me, make a motion to approve staff's recommendation.
Second.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Thank you. That takes us to item number 33, and that's a proposed lease agreement with Influencers Youth Sports to use a portion of Metropolitan Recreation Center to operate baseball fields for recreational youth baseball games. And this is, again, with our Director of General Services.
Thank you, Chairman. So the second item here is proposed lease agreement, as you mentioned, for recreational baseball at Metropolitan Recreation Center. So the Metropolitan Recreational Center is located adjacent to Stramler Park and Kern County Museum, which is just south of the Kern River on the east side of Chester Avenue. The recreational facility has the Sam Lynn Ballpark, recreational baseball and softball, batting cages, remote control race car track, and BMX bicycle track. The proposed lease agreement includes the facility that is comprised of approximately 24.5 acres, 13 diamonds, which includes 12 baseball and 1 softball, public restrooms, concession area, maintenance facilities, and public parking area. Back in December of 2025, the Department, General Services, started the RFP process to issue out a new lease agreement. We selected the Influencers Youth Sports. Your board approved us to then proceed with negotiations with IYS. And just a little bit here about IYS. They are a local Kern County-based nonprofit organization. They have successfully performed baseball facility operation and maintenance, committed to continuing recreational baseball partnerships at the facility. They are devoted to reinvesting in the facility improvements and upgrades, and they're dedicated to proactive and preventative maintenance practices intended to preserve county assets. So the purpose of the lease agreement is to operate and maintain the premises for recreational youth baseball programs and concessions. The leasee will assume responsibility for all improvements, repairs, and maintenance of the facility. They will preserve and promote recreational youth baseball. And they'll do this by coordinating with and supporting county-recognized recreational baseball leagues that are chartered by major national organizations and approved by myself, Chief General Services Officer. The term of this lease, the initial term will be for 3 years with 2 3-year options to extend. The rent will be $7,500 for the first year with 2% annual increase. And this is the part I like the best, is the reinvestment into the facility. A minimum of $75,000 will be reinvested into the facility annually. So IYS's efforts to continue recreational youth baseball partnerships, they have held several in-person and virtual meetings, performed analysis of previous player and team counts, forecasted the number of games, and prepared the season schedules. And also they are providing affordability to the community through field rental rates that are kept to a minimum and sharing discounts in relation to team shirts and baseballs. So therefore, the department respectfully requests your board approval to the lease agreement with Influencers Youth Sports to use a portion of the Metropolitan Recreation Center to operate baseball fields for recreational youth baseball programs. Thank you, and I appreciate your consideration.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any members of the public that are here to speak on this?
First speaker is Chris Keeler.
Good afternoon, Chair and Board. I'm Chris Keeler. I'm the Vice President of Northwest Baseball, the recreational league that has held the lease there for the previous 2+ decades. At this point, I have reviewed the contract. We have been in negotiations with Influencer Youth Sports. But at this point, we have no firm agreements. We do have outlines. We are still working on a good, firm, solid agreement. Nothing has been signed on use of the fields for recreational baseball. Yeah, that's where we are right now.
Understood. Thank you. Supervisor Perez?
Thank you so much, Chair. Why are there no firm agreements, or why has nothing been set in stone before today? I'm just curious why that's happened.
We've both been working at it diligently. Last time we spoke was Sunday. I mean, we've been going back and forth every week. Last time I spoke with them, I'm sure you guys spoke to Daniel since then. Yeah, so, yeah. I mean, it's been a constant dialogue. There's just nothing has been signed yet.
Okay.
We have a broad outline. We've worked out some details.
Okay. Do you think people are operating in good faith? How do you feel?
I do. I think everyone's trying to operate in good faith.
How do you feel?
Until there's a contract, I'm apprehensive.
Thank you. That's helpful. I don't know if my colleagues have questions at this time, but that's helpful. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers?
Our next speaker is Corey Davison.
Mr. Chairman, while he's coming to the microphone, I know that Mr. Ione just walked in and probably doesn't know our process for registering. Can we allow him to speak when it's time, even though he's just walked in the door?
Sure thing.
All right, thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the board. My name is Corey Davison, C-O-R-E-Y-D-A-V-I-S-S-O-N, president of IYS. Influencers Youth Sport is excited for the opportunity to work with the county and help ensure that Northwest Baseball can continue providing recreational baseball in the community. Over the past couple of months, we've been in negotiations to find a way the recreational league can continue to play at the Metro Complex at a rate that is fair and affordable for families. Northwest Baseball's rates are already lower than what many organizations in the area will be charged. And we want to help ensure the recreational baseball remains accessible to the children and families in our community. We have reached pretty much some minimum numbers as far as that goes. But yes, there is nothing set in stone, but we do have rates for the fall and the spring that we can address as well. At the end of the day, our promise is simple. We want to make sure that the Metro Complex venue is a venue that families, players, and organizations want to return to year after year. And we also want to make sure that recreational baseball, is continued in this community. It is where everybody starts. It is where everybody gets to learn how to play the game. They earn their friends. They learn how to communicate. And as we all know, I'm a special education teacher. Our youth communicating these days is very difficult due to the COVID pandemic. We believe that this opportunity to support youth baseball, strengthen our community, and create a successful partnership with the county and Northwest. And we thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Excuse me. Supervisor Perez?
Thank you. I appreciate your comments. Thank you for your presentation. A promise is one thing, a contract is another thing, as you know. A contract is enforceable under the law. It's, it has with it the agency of the Board of Supervisors. It's a big deal. So I was very hopeful that you guys had worked something out. That was my heart's true desire, that that's where we would be at this time and place. So it's a little bit uncomfortable at this stage. I'm a lawyer too, so I know good intentions can go real bad without a contract. How would you respond to that?
Well, we have numbers, we have prices set in place, like I said, for the fall and the spring. We just haven't written it down and put it on a contract yet.
That's my concern.
We have it on paper, ready to go. We just haven't met to actually make that happen.
Okay, understood. Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you. Supervisor Couch?
Michelle, this is the way I understand the situation, and I hope I understand it right, so tell me if I'm wrong. You're asking us to improve a lease with IYS. The contract or the agreement for Northwest Baseball and whatever terms they'll operate under is between Northwest Baseball and IYS, right?
Supervisor Couch, to the chair, that is correct.
We're not a party to the Northwest Baseball, to that agreement at all.
No, we are not.
Okay. However, and I can't find it in the lease agreement, but I know I see something about it, but I don't think this is. Describe for me the terms that IYS has to follow to be compliant with the lease. They have to provide for recreational youth baseball from and there's a term for this.
Yes. So they must preserve and promote recreational youth baseball with a chartered, major national recognized organization. So that Northwest Baseball meets that requirement, as well as it has to be approved by myself.
Okay, so I'm going to use a baseball analogy here. You're going to call balls and strikes. You're the umpire. And if you don't like the pitch that's thrown, you can say no, correct?
Correct.
And that means there is no contract, there would be no lease with IYS, and presumably if there's no lease with IYS, they're not going to have a contract because they can have all the contracts they want, but they can't play at that facility. But they can't have anything that would happen at the fields that we're talking about unless this lease is in place. And that lease says they have to have a contract with, say it again, a nationally.
Chartered by a major national organization.
Is there anybody else in Bakersfield that's a nationally chartered organization besides Northwest Baseball?
Our baseball experts would need to answer that question for you, sir.
Southwest, and they have a nice place to play, correct? Out there at Era Park. Is it still called Era Park? Okay. So I am comfortable moving forward with this because they have to go, Mr. Morrissey? Not even close. He has to go make a deal with them. And if he doesn't make a deal with them, he doesn't have anything. Am I right?
Supervisor Couch, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Supervisor Couch. Supervisor Flores?
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, General Services. We've been at this for a while, and I'm pleased that we're going in the right direction and the parties are talking. And so this, again, thank you, Supervisor Couch, for those questions, because this is fundamentally what this is about is a lease between the county and the operators, and we already approved that going for the IYS operator at the last meeting. And we've encouraged them to talk to Northwest and the existing parties that use that to ensure rec ball and that all levels of ball can play, club ball, tournaments, what have you. And so they're having those ongoing discussions. So thank you for that. I'm encouraged by the lower rates that are being offered and the investment into the facilities of $75,000. That's great. And I want to also thank the president, Salayon, who's in attendance, for coming on board and talking with all the parties and being a diplomat moving this forward, because we're in a lot better position. So thank you, Saul, and thank you for what you're doing for team sports here. So I'm also comfortable, and I'm looking forward to approving this. And I'm also looking forward for all the parties to get together and finish their sublease. But what's before us right now is the lease to the facility, IYS Sports. And so I'm happy to make a motion to that effect if there's no other comments. Thank you.
I have a short comment before we vote.
We still have to finish public comment.
Oh,
so-
good. That's what I was going to ask, if we could hear from the mayor of McFarland.
Sure. Well, hold on one second. I think we have another registered speaker.
Okay.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah, the next speaker is Rodney DiMaggio.
Okay. Okay.
Good evening, Honorable Chair and distinguished board members. Good afternoon. My name is Saul Ayon. Yes, I'm currently the mayor of McFarland, but I'm also the interim president for Northwest Baseball. The reason I got involved with both organizations was that on a personal level, a personal note, I'm a Parks and Rec kid, played for 12 years. And what I wanted to do is bring the groups together so that there was no obstacle for any kid, especially with pricing, to be able to play baseball. We've had bringing everybody together and just having common sense conversations and be able not to attack each other and just bringing everybody to the table that makes sense. That was the reasoning behind this on both ends, because whenever there's miscommunication, that's when a lot of things started happening, not engaging and not doing what's right for the kids. And so we're at the final piece of we got the fall in, and we're working on the spring. I mean, not to put anybody in the spot, but we would like a 3-year lease. They want a 1-year lease, so we don't have to come back obviously to the board and approve this, but obviously that's between negotiations, and everybody's been acting in good faith as far as both organizations, and it just bringing everybody together. That's what really mattered. And now with obviously having the employees for the county coming in and just sitting there and making sure that there was no insults and stuff happening. Obviously, a lot of these things are really personal to people, but at the end of the day, it's for our kids, it's for the families, and it's for our communities, where it shouldn't be an obstacle to be playing baseball or any kind of activity where pricing is involved. So we're very close to a deal as far as with IYS and securing that, but thank you for your time. If you have any questions, believe me, it was a lot of meetings, a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails. I'm like, how did I get involved with this? But there's a reason why, right? So, but thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any additional public speakers?
We have one. Mr. DiMaggio?
I think, yeah, he gave his, okay.
Good evening. My name is Rodney DiMaggio, RODNEY-DIMAGGIO. I'm the Vice President of IYS. I just come in front of you guys today to say that we are willing to sign an agreement with Northwest Baseball, and the prices that we have set up, we have it ready to go, that we could potentially walk outside and sign it today. And we have it prepared and ready to go with the rates for spring and fall. And then within the agreement, we have also have it to discuss that T-ball on fields 11 and 12, that we have agreed that we will not charge for practice or games for the little guys. We have put that into our terms, that they will never be charged to use those fields for any T-ball games at all. We've also put in the agreement that we will shall remain, that we will come back to the tables for negotiations no later than May 1st of 2027, and have something for before fall of next year, and have it locked in before June 1st of 2027. So once agreement has been approved with the county and on our side of a contract, we will be able to enter into an agreement with Northwest. So once that's been approved, then we can actually go into a contract with Northwest, since that'll allow us to, go to the next steps. So today, I come before you guys to tell you that we're ready to go. We want this to happen, and we want to make sure that everybody does have a place to play. So I thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. Okay, is that the end of the public speakers? Okay, that'll bring it back to the board for any additional conversation or motion. Okay, we had a motion from Supervisor Flores. Thanks for clarifying. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second.
The motion is approved, all ayes.
Okay,
Can I add one thing? 10 seconds
Sure
worth?
thing.
I just want to say thank you to Saul, because in my 28 years of doing this, I've never seen anyone that's done more for the people he represents than that guy. And you didn't have to do this. This had nothing to do with the city of McFarland, but you brought them together and you got it done, and I appreciate your help.
thank you. Okay, having no more items to consider on today's agenda, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to Tuesday, August 25th at 9 a.m. Thank you. Without objection, we're adjourned.
Perfect, thank you.